March 5, 2008. Chapel Hill at night, a college town in the heart of North Carolina. The street is silent, interrupted only by the occasional noise of passing cars. Somewhere nearby, in the darkness, a story is unfolding that will shake the country. A young woman, a beloved friend, a talented student and president of the student body at the University of North Carolina, will become the victim of a criminal so cold-blooded and senseless that he will be talked about for many years to come. Her name was Eve Carson. She was a symbol of youth, energy, openness to the world. Her murder is the result of a random inspection of premises that were discovered in a person only as a tool for the living. But behind this phenomenon lies more than just the tragedy of one family. This is a story about the failure of state and social principles, about how ignoring obvious signs of danger can cost the lives of innocents. Born in August 1985 in a small town in Georgia, Eve grew up in a warm and loving family. From childhood, she showed extraordinary abilities for learning and leadership. She was an excellent student at school, participated in volunteer programs, helped with charity events. By the time she entered UNC, she already had an impressive portfolio of victories in Olympiads, projects, and awards. At the university, Eve quickly became a prominent figure. She was engaged in scientific research, was an activist in social projects, worked with charitable organizations. In the spring of 2007, she was elected president of the student government, the first woman in this position in many years. She was respected by teachers, admired by friends, and the administration saw in her a future leader at the national level. The night of March 5th, 2008 should have been ordinary, but people were already wandering around Chapel Hill for whom other people's lives meant nothing. Dario Atwater, 21, already had a long list of arrests under his belt for armed robbery, drug possession, aggravated assault. He was part of a street gang, living a life where crime was the norm. His younger partner, 17-year-old Lawrence Lovett, was no stranger to crime either. Despite his age, he was a suspect in the murder of a student in January of that year, but was still at large. That night, they were looking for an easy target. Their target was Eve Carson, who was returning home. According to investigators, she was forced into the passenger seat of her car. At gunpoint, she was driven to ATMs, where she withdrew $700, the maximum allowed under her daily limit. Cameras captured the cash withdrawal, but that was the last time we saw her alive. After hours of moving, she was driven to a quiet residential street and shot multiple times. Forensic experts determined that the shots were fired at point-blank range, some to the head. What led to such cruelty? Atwater and Lovett are the product of a system that for years failed to notice the obvious. Atwater grew up surrounded by violence, drugs, and crime. Early arrests were not followed by serious rehabilitation programs. Court decisions were lenient, social services were overloaded. Lovett was a teenager with alarming signs of antisocial behavior, aggression, disregard for rules, a craving for risk. But in his case, the system missed the chance to intervene. The school saw problems, the police had suspicions, but no legal action followed. Psychiatrists involved in the trials noted that both had serious personality disorders. Atwater had features of an antisocial disorder. Lovett had a tendency to impulsive, aggressive actions without understanding the consequences. But the key factor was a combination of psychological problems and an environment in which criminal behavior was not only not condemned, but also encouraged. The case was a painful illustration of how the various layers of the state and social structure failed to work together in time. Atwater was scheduled to stand trial on weapons charges just 2 days after the murder, but continued to roam freely. Lovett, the prime suspect in the murder of a student 2 months earlier, also remained at large. There were no prevention programs in place, no supervision of parolees, and no coordination between law enforcement agencies in different jurisdictions. All of this combined to create the conditions under which Eve Carson's encounter with them turned deadly. The investigation relied on surveillance footage, witness statements, fingerprints, and ballistics. Atwater and Lovett were arrested separately, but testimony and evidence quickly linked them into a single case. In April 2010, Dario Atwater was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison plus 30 years without parole. His accomplice, Lawrence Lovett, was also given a life sentence in December 2011. His first sentence was overturned due to changes in laws regarding juvenile offenders, but the retrial confirmed that he would not be released. The trial included a dispute over the extent to which Lovett's mental health and age would have reduced his sentence. But the court was swayed by the premeditation and brutality of the crime. After Eve's tragic death, Chapel Hill and the University of North Carolina joined forces to transform pain into something that could give hope. In the heart of the UNC campus, among the shady alleys and old brick buildings, a memorial garden was laid out in her name. Here, under the shade of trees, students can retire, sit in silence, remember her, and perhaps find the strength to continue studying and living, despite their own difficulties. This garden has become not just a place of memory, but a quiet refuge where her kindness and cheerfulness come to life. The Eve Carson Scholarship, established by the university, supports those students who, like her, combine high academic standards with active social activities. Each year, new recipients of this award read her story, see her smile on the university stands, and understand that success is not only about grades, but also about contributing to the lives of others. Thousands of students and teachers meet her portrait on the walls of university buildings. Her name has become a symbol of how even one person can change the world around them. But it has also become a reminder of how easily a society can lose those who were at its heart if the approaching danger is not noticed in time. A new law passed in February 2009 as a direct consequence of this tragedy. It increased penalties for gang-related crimes and established stricter measures of control over those released on parole. The law was unofficially nicknamed the Eve Carson Law and was an attempt to close the systemic holes through which her killers were released, despite their long list of crimes. But no law, no reform will bring back that night of March 5th, 2008, or rewrite its outcome. All that remains is memory. The memory of a young woman whose 22 years contain more good deeds than many have time to do in a lifetime. The story of Eve Carson is not only a crime story, but also a warning. It is a story of how ignoring the signs of danger, indifference, and failures in government and social services can cost the lives of those who deserve a future. It is a story of a human light that once shone so brightly that it continues to illuminate the way even after it was cruelly extinguished. And when the magnolias bloom in Chapel Hill in the spring, it seems that this light is still there, in the flowers, in the smiles of students, in the quiet rustle of leaves in the memorial garden. This was case number 99. We tell it so that you will not forget.